All right, everybody, welcome. My name is Mr. Moss.
I'm Mr. Levine.
All right, so today, and for probably the next couple days, we're going to be working on the Revolutionary War WebQuest. So, directions. In this WebQuest, you will read about the events of the Revolutionary War and read the question. Then you're going to be evaluating the links or sources about those events and determine which link or source has the more reliable information. You're going to complete the reliability checklist and determine which source is more reliable. And then lastly, you're going to use that particular link to answer the question about the event. So, Mr. Levine, could you just go through and just review very quickly what makes the information on a website or source that you take a look at more reliable or trustworthy than another?
Absolutely. So, what makes the information more reliable or trustworthy? So, the first question you want to ask is there a known author? Right? If someone is working hard on, an article, a document, something like that, they're going to want credit for that hard work, right? So they would want to put their name with that hard work. Is there a known author? If maybe there's not a known author, is the website you're reading from, is it a reputable institution, or is it just a blog? Right? There's a big difference between those two. Does it rely on research and cite evidence? Can it be verified and checked? So if they make a claim and provide evidence, can you look somewhere else to find similar information? If not, that might not be reliable. So you want to look for something where you can check it yourself, right? Seeing is believing for you as well. So if you can look at a piece of information, a graph, and find that somewhere else as well, we call that corroboration, right? That's agreeing. It's similar. Um, is it from a site that provides contact information or expert knowledge in a field of study? Again, fairly similar to is it a known author? You also want to make sure that the person you're taking this information from is qualified to give you this information, right? So whether it mean that person has a PhD in history if you're reading a history article, or whether the person is an actual scientist if you're reading a science article, you want it to be from a reputable person with actual expert knowledge. Is it part of a respected academic community, such as being connected to a college, university, or medical group? So, as mentioned before with known author, right? If it's from, let's say, Harvard University, um, you know, UMass Amherst, wherever it may be, um, if it's from a college, university, or medical group, it's more likely to be trustworthy information because they are professional scholars who, gather information, write about things for a living.
Yeah, and if it's from like a particular organization that is a historical society, that might be also an academic community you might trust when it comes to history as well.
Yes.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the question that we got to answer. There's a little bit of context that's provided first, and we'll take a look and proceed. So we see research question. Question number one. The Battle of Lexington Green is viewed by most as the start of the Revolutionary War. Many did not expect this event to occur. To this day, it is still a mystery about who fired the first shot on this fateful day. So the question that we want to be answering is which side suffered more casualties? That would be the number of people who either were wounded or dead in battle at the battles of Lexington and Concord, the American colonists or the British. So what we need to do is we need to open up our two particular sources. First is from a website called Ducksters, and the other is from a website called Gilder Lehrman. So I have already got these particular websites open, so I'm going to open them up right over here. So the first site we can see is Ducksters, and they provide me information about the Battle of Lexington and Concord. So I might read this over here, as well as the Gilder Lehrman website as well. And once again, I would take a look over here and see if I could find that particular answer about the number of casualties suffered on both sides, the American colonists as well as the British soldiers. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go through the particular checklist. And I'm going to be answering those particular questions. For source number one, we're looking at Ducksters. Hucksters is asking, is there a known author for this particular site over here? And if I look at this particular article, I don't see there being an author. So I am not going to put an X next to that, or I'm not going to put a check next to that because I don't see there being an author for that particular website. There is no known author that's listed here. So that's one. I don't see it. Next up, is it reliant upon research and cited evidence that can be verified and checked? So once again, I don't see there being any sort of citations. I don't see there being any bit of information that lets me, the reader, know that they got information from a different website. Now, one thing that I really like to do to give an understanding, or for me to understand the particular website a little bit more, I might look for the About page, which usually appears at the top of the website or the bottom of the website. So if I click on the About page, I do see that they mention that they get their information from educational articles that are written with many sources that are used, and they use multiple books, web resources, and references are used for fact verification. So that's why I put possibly down. Possibly, maybe. I'm just going to have to believe them, I guess.
Right. Take their word for it,
Uh,
which isn't always the best
yeah.
strategy.
Is it from a trustworthy site that provides contact information and expert knowledge in the field of study? I do have the ability to contact them if I want to reach out to them and provide them with information if I think there's an issue going on. So I guess the answer would be yes. So I do cross that off as yes. And lastly, it is part of a respected academic community, such as being connected to a college, university, or medical group. And Ducksters, this particular website, is definitely not a part of a well respected academic community or anything. Now, before we move on, we really want to stress here that even though it doesn't seem like that's the most reliable website going, the information on the site might be true. We're not saying it's false, but is there a particular website that might be more reliable or more trustworthy? Let's now take a look at the second website, which is the Gilder Lehrman website. So when we get up the Gilder Lehrman website, we see over here an article from the battles of Lexington and Concord. So I see over here, once again, even though this website seems to be a little bit more sophisticated and classy than the Ducksters one, it does not say that there is a known author. I don't see a known author here. I do see that they do provide some research and evidence, though, from people who were participants at the battles of Lexington and Concord. So I do see and I do cross off that it relies on research and cited evidence that can be verified and checked. There's definitely information from people who were participants. That's a primary source. So there's definitely that information. Next up, is it from a trustworthy site that provides contact information and expert knowledge in the field of study? Well, if I go on the Gilder Lehrman Institute of American History website, if I were to click on that, it pulls up contact information about who Gilder Lehrman is. And I see that this was a historical foundation founded by two particular people who were lifelong supporters of the field of education, and they're the leading nonprofit organization dedicated to K through 12 history education. So yes, that would definitely indicate that it's from a trustworthy site. And also, if you wanted to reach out to them, you can see that they do provide an email address as well as a phone number if you wanted to ever contact them. And once again, at the very bottom, it is a part of a respected academic community, as we can see, and it's connected to, it's connected to a lot of different colleges, a lot of different organizations.
Yeah, so while Gilbert Lehrman is not like a college itself, they have many like podcasts and public speaking like events with professors and different academics from many universities throughout the country.
Mm-hmm. So if we were to take a look at our checklist over here in terms of what we checked off, Mr. Levine, what is the more reliable source?
I would say the more reliable source is Gilder Lehrman. but that does not necessarily mean Duxter's is unreliable.
Yeah.
We are simply looking for the source that is more reliable.
All right, so now if I were to go to the particular, go back to the particular reading about the battles of Lexington and Concord, I can see over here, it says by the end of April 19th, the British had suffered 273 casualties and the Americans had suffered 93. So to go back to our particular question of which side suffered more casualties at the battles of Lexington and Concord, the American colonists or the British? Well, the answer is that the British suffered more casualties at the battles of Lexington and Concord. All right. Now we understand this is the first time we're doing something like this for this particular class about reliability of sources. What's more trustworthy or reliable? It might be a little bit tricky. That's why we are here to help. This is more of an experimental sort of assignment. We definitely should be able to answer the questions that are provided, but we're here to really, dive into the checklists and determining what's more reliable. That's what we're here for. We're here to learn. We're here to get better at these sorts of things. So we want to get started. We want you to have a good day. And if you have any questions, definitely reach out to us. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.